One of my worst um, pet peeves, I guess, that I really despise greatly is it's got to be gender wars. And honestly, I I'm sick of it. I'm so utterly tired that everyone is just blinded with the idea that everybody has to just be apart and away from each other all the goddamn time. It's annoying to me, honestly. And the fact that people add on to it, even with the idea of like just trolls existing, like a typical woman, this that, or like even on the women's side, this is why we should kill all men, blah blah blah. It's it's annoying. It's the fucking worst. I absolutely despise the idea of just having to deal with, the fact that we have to be quote unquote separate when, a lot of people need to realize, we all live on this planet together. Uh, there will never be a split. There's never going to be a second Earth, as far as we know, or at least even in our lifetime, where we can go, yeah, men can go here, women can go. That's never going to happen. And that even then, if we do get to a point where we're at that stage, we still won't fucking do it because we need each other, whether you like it or not. There will never be a time where there will be only women or only men in this world. Uh, we all need to exist together to keep each other alive in every way. And even if if it comes to a disagreement, I guess, of how we're treated, like even like when it comes to like wage gaps and stuff, like you know, to me that I can't say anything to that because I mean I can express my opinion to it. Yes, I think the wage cap is pretty fucking stupid. There are some women who do a great job at doing what some of us men do, when it comes to, that 9 to 5 job. Sure, when it comes to the blue collar work, it is typically a men, you know, a, generally a men job, like it's mostly filled with men. Like, you don't see a woman typically working a blue collar job. And even if there is, I think that's great. I don't see the negatives to it. A lot of people say that they can't do it or that they shouldn't because it's what it's because of their gender, which is idiotic. Like, why argue that logic of hey, we can all exist together. Like, yeah, we can all exist together. Like, what's the problem? Why do you want, why do some guys want just women to stay in the kitchen and cook them their sandwich when realistically they can also, be themselves, work like every other human being should? All human beings should have, the right to have a nice pay and, work a good job. And, you know, the second it's split, I think it's stupid. I think it's really stupid because, oh my God, like you're telling me that the reason why you can't pay them more or equal to the average man's salary is because they're female? Get the fuck out of here with that fucking bullshit. Damn well. It's just stupid to me. And despite even wages or work or anything like that, men and women now, I feel like, have kind of been in this war, I want to say, where they've been doing nothing but going back and forth at each other's throats. I mean, it was a couple years ago, I think, when a bunch of women were just talking about how like it's kill all men, this and that. And that it was annoying me so much because a lot of the women that were saying kill all men were genuinely talking about every single man on earth, and there are those some women that'll tell you not all men, and I get that. Of course you don't mean all men, because there's a lot of scumbags in this world, and that's all those scumbags isn't all 4 billion of these dudes, including myself. Now, I'll be honest with you, I am not the best man, uh, but when it comes to treating women, uh, I try my best to be nice. I never typically disrespect any woman in my life, and even if I do, it's probably from an ex-girlfriend or something like that, or just some heated argument from personal reasons. I typically don't anger them from being misogynistic or anything, because I feel like as a man, you should be more, uh what's the word, you should have the balls to realize that you guys are on the same level. There is no, like, maybe not physically, maybe sometimes not mentally, but we're all humans on planet Earth. So why in the fuck should it matter so much, uh, whether or not we should exist or die? It's I think it's stupid. I think it's borderline insane. And don't even, and that's just women. When we're talking about men, men are just as bad, because men are fucking terrible. We're fucking apes. When it comes to anything, when we talk shit or anything, or say or do anything, we're fucking stupid. you know, the majority of us do the most retarded fucking things ever, and we don't bat an eye to it, because it, we don't take opinion, I guess, from the looks of it, which is also stupid. I think men should be taking opinions way more seriously. There's a lot of men out there who sit there and play with their AI, sort of AI shit, making some Jeffrey Epstein ass fucking edits for some fucking reason, and not, actually critically thinking, like, hey, maybe what I'm doing is wrong and I shouldn't do it. But no, instead they're fucking doing it, and we can't do anything about it, unfortunately. We just have to wait until those men, I guess, fizzle away. But the thing is, I know they won't, and everyone knows they won't. These guys will all exist for who knows how long, and who knows, maybe their fucking children will pick it up, and they'll be making some dog shit ass fucking ideas with AI in the future, if AI is even still alive, which I'm hoping it is. Well, not in the sense of taking people's jobs, but I'm hoping it's alive to a point where it's what's the word? It's not relevant anymore. I kind of really just hope it's gone. From the public hands. The second they gave the public AI, it was stupid. You guys should have never done that. You probably should have just left it to, like, movies and stuff like that. But no, now you gave it to fucking Timmy, and now Timmy's making the worst shit ever. AI could be useful, but it's in the wrong hands, I guess, is the right answer to that question I asked myself. I don't know. Anyways, at the end of the story, men and women need to learn to love one another. It's kind of a dream of mine, to see the world connected that way. And, even when it comes to just gender, not even just gender, race, all that stuff kind of fucking matters to, for all of us to be connected. Uh, and men versus women is one that's been going on for a long time. Uh, you know, it's not men versus women, it's men and women. So we should probably, stick to one another like glue, and accept that, we're humans, and we both need to be treated equally. Uh, And yeah, peace to your soul, peace to the world.